Hi, I'm James. 100% totally don't look into it.
And I'm Nick.
And welcome back to ATBQ. We've discussed in the previous videos that we agree with the Christian worldview. This is because there is no explanation for the account of the resurrection of Jesus that makes sense except for him to have resurrected. However, there is one more possible explanation for this impossible seeming resurrection, that being that nothing is real. If reality is not as we think it is, then impossible things, like Jesus resurrecting, could happen without Jesus being the Son of God.
Like Mr. Musk thinks, are we living in simulation?
I find it hard to argue against that possibility.
That's right. I mean, as I see it, Buddhism makes the claim that there is a lot of suffering in life typically, and that humans often fail to see the world clearly. They have illusions about themselves and about other people and about the world.
And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray, standing in the synagogues and on the street corners, to be seen by men.
Well, what worldviews hold up to the belief that nothing is real?
The primary one is Buddhism, but there is also a belief that we all live inside of a computer simulation created by far more advanced humans.
Let's talk about Buddhism first.
Okay, but how can we talk about the evidence for a worldview that believes that the world as we know it isn't as we think it is?
The Buddhist book is called Tripitaka. Why don't we look at that?
Okay, I could take it from here.
Alright, what do we got?
It's very simple. The Tripitaka isn't a historically reliable document. It was first composed in 550 BC, but only started being transmitted through writing in 1 AD.
Okay then.
If the Tripitaka that we have today bears no resemblance to the original, then this worldview doesn't have much of a basis at all.
Then how come so many people believe it?
Tradition mostly. Think about it. There are more atheists than Christians in this world, and as we saw in these videos, there's an overwhelming evidence of the resurrection of Christ.
Good point.
Well, what about the simulation belief?
Well, the logic behind the thought that if there is no God, then the chances of humans existing are low. If there is a God, the chances are still low, but they're higher. But if there is an advanced society of humans, they will almost certainly create a simulation to learn more about humanity.
Yeah, that does actually make sense.
Until you realize that if the Christian God exists, then there is a 100% chance of him creating humans, because creating us is in his nature, and nothing could affect his decisions because he is unmoved and never changing, due to the fact that he is independent of the flow of time.
So if you use logic, then Christianity would make even more sense.
Except that logic is faulty, because everyone can make any worldview up in which the existence of humans is inevitable, and by this logic, everyone would be correct.
That's true. For example, there is a supernatural God who will create humans no matter what his name is, such as Charles. Also, Charles says that Nick is the most epic person on ATBQ.
And as we all know, you are not the most epic person on ATBQ, proving that process of thinking is faulty.
Hey, wait a second.
In conclusion, what's real is what's real. If nothing is real, then there is no such thing as moral responsibility. If pain is truly an illusion, or if humanity is truly just an experiment, there wouldn't be anything wrong with things like the Holocaust or 9/11.
Human life would be worthless. In fact, everything would be worthless.
A lot of people fear Christianity because of moral responsibility. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have moral responsibility than everything being meaningless. But we've seen it happen in recent years, and the trend will continue.
Humans hate moral responsibility.
This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people love darkness instead of the light because their deeds were evil. John 3:19.